are talking pelvic floor today. And I thought I'd just take a few moments at the beginning to just explain pelvic floor. Often people think pelvic floor and they think Kegels, okay? And that is not just the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor during pregnancy, yes, Kegels are important, and there are two types. One is where you hold the Kegel, and that's going to help you with stopping yourself from incontinence. And the second one is where you do the quick squeezes, and that's going to help you when you're coughing or sneezing, that sort of thing. But when we talk about pelvic floor, when you're pregnant, you have a hormone called relaxin in your body, and that is going to soften your bones. So you start to feel the hips expanding for obvious reasons. It's going to relax the muscles. And so what we want to do is we want to strengthen the pelvic floor so that as everything softens, it's not just going to collapse, okay? And you want to have strong muscles in order to be able to push the baby out as well. So if you just let everything go, then you're going to not have that strength that you need. And it's going to also help, reduce hip pain, reduce back pain, all these things. So we're going to start lying on our backs. And if you want to do your Kegel exercises anytime throughout this, you can. So bringing your feet hip distance apart and bringing the knees so that they're in line with the hips. Now to start, you want to just make sure that your back, the whole of your back, is in contact with the floor. So if you can stick your hand under your back at any point, then that's not good. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with some really nice basic pelvic tilts. So if you take your hands to your hips, you can start to move the hip up and then down. Up and then down. Up and then down. So it's really subtle, but just nice, gentle pelvic tilts. And the back stays in contact with the mat. So you can stay here doing this, or we can step it up a bit more. We're going to do something called clocks, okay? So imagine 6 o'clock is down here, 12 o'clock is up here, and we've got 5, 7, 2 and 11. So we're going to tip 6, 12. So dip at 6, dip at 12. Keeping the back in contact with the mat. And you should feel your pelvic floor working. So 6 and 12. Now we're going to dip 5 and 7. 5, 7. Keeping the back completely flat on the mat. 5, 7. 5, 7. Got it? So 6, 12. 6, 12. 5, 7. 5, 7. You might notice that one side's a bit stickier than the other. We're now going to try 2 and 11. So dip it back to 2, dip it back to 11. Dip it back to 2, dip it back to 11. Dip it back to 2, dip it back to 11. So let's go 6, 12, 6, 12, 5, 7, 5, 7, 2, 11, 2, 11, and then slowly come to a nice flat back. So for the next one, we're just going to get something in between our legs. So you can grab a ball, a cushion, something you can squeeze, even if you end up with a kid's toy, okay? So we're just going to do some nice pelvic tilts, but squeezing the ball to start. So placing whatever you can in between the knees. From here, think about the pelvic tilt and start to squeeze the knees together, squeezing whatever you've got in between your knees. So squeezing here, tilting the pelvis. Now maybe you want to squeeze what's in between your knees and start to push the outsides of your feet away from each other. Now, what can happen here is that you don't want the feet to actually move, but you're squeezing the knees together and the feet are trying to move out to the side. Using that breath for 3, for 2, and for 1. Now you can stay here, or if you'd like to step it up a bit, you're going to bring the feet off the mat and you are going to bring them to a 90-degree angle. So the knees are tracking right on top of the hips. You're still squeezing that ball, whatever it is you've got between your knees together. And remember, the back is fully flush with the mat. So you're not arching through the back, you're pushing it down, you're tilting the pelvis, holding here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, squeezing together, and for 1. Slowly bring the feet down, remove your little bit, and then slowly come to just roll onto the side. Coming up, we're going to meet in our cat-cow tabletop, all fours. So from here, you want to make sure that your hips are stacked below your knees, your shoulders are stacked on top of your wrists, spider fingers pressing through the first finger and thumb to protect the wrist. Now, if you have got any lower back pain, any sciatica, maybe you would like to do some cat-cows just to warm up. And you can do this by opening up the chest. We do not want to drop the belly with this, okay? We're doing enough dipping into the back with the weight of the belly. So you want to make sure that you open the chest up and then shine the creases of the elbows forward. And then exhale. You can then round through the back like you would an angry cat, which you're not going to be today, are you? And gaze to the belly button. So inhale, neutral spine, open the chest, lift the heart. Exhale, rounding through, push through, protraction through the shoulders, push down into the hands, gaze to the belly button. Inhale, open up the chest, don't let that belly drop, hug baby to spine. And then exhale, rounding through. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, open up the chest. A nice calm breath here, inhaling for 4. And exhaling, rounding through. So we're still tilting the spine, we're still engaging the glutes, we're still working that pelvic floor. If you wake up in the morning and you've got any particular hip or lower back pain, you can stay here doing cat-cow like this. Or maybe you want to start to do a bit of what I call a sassy dog. And this is where you start to just take the gaze towards the feet, working through the rib cage. So just taking a little stretch from side to side. Maybe you prefer to take some barrel rolls, so just literally starting to roll out. Or maybe some figure 8s. Figure 8s are always nice on those hips, so really just also tilting through that pelvis. So this is a really nice versatile all fours. And find what feels right for you that day. Maybe it's the hips that are working and this feels good doing the figure 8. Maybe it's the lower back, in which case a nice classic cat-cow would work. So let's start to get a little bit of strength into that pelvic floor. From here, you're going to tuck the right toes under and you're going to take them out behind you. We're going to come into tiger pose. Now, if you've got PGP, often keep the knees together and the legs together and see how far you can go. Maybe if you have PGP, it feels nice just staying here, rocking backwards and forwards, getting into the foot and stretching out through the plantar fascia. If you want to go that little bit more, you are going to raise, so raise that right leg up off the floor, toes point down, top thigh goes down. You can stay here, make sure you're hugging baby to spine, so don't let that belly drop, and take the left arm out in front. Holding here for the count of 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring it down. Bring the knee together. Take a moment here. We're going to do the same on the other side. So tucking those left toes under, take it out behind. So once again, maybe it feels good, just rocking backwards and forwards. Coming into tiger, let's start off with a nice simple one. Lifting that back leg, toes are pointing down towards the floor. Right arm reaching out nice and strong, engaging, squaring up those hips for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Nice work. Slowly bring it down. We're going to go back onto the right again, and we're going to do some pulses. So once again, PGP, bring the knees together. Lifting that right leg out, lifting it up, but this time bending the top knee, so a 90-degree angle. We're going to pulse for 10. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Use those glutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring the knees back together. Now an option here, you can repeat the 10 pulses, or you can have a go at this one. And this is where we're exploring that hip range, that hip mobility. So from here, we're going to bring that right hip out to the side as if you're a dog peeing up a tree. And then you're going to bring it back into center. Now, if this is not comfortable for you, stick with the pulses, but find what feels right for your body today. So we're going for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Bring the knees back together. We're going to do the same on the other side. So, tuck the left toes under, take the leg out long, lifting it, staying at any of the sessions, the levels that you like, or bending that top leg, pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bringing the knees together. So repeating any of those levels, or coming into our sort of dog variation, taking the leg outside for 10, back down, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, you've got this, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Slowly bring the knees wide, the feet together, and take a little child's pose. Sink the seat back to the heels, take the arms out wide, make space for baby, close the eyes down. Let's deepen the breath now. So inhaling for the count of 4, and exhaling for the count of 8. Start to send the breath down towards your baby. And with every exhale, just start to soften, knowing that you are listening to your body. Where the mind goes, the body flows. So if we can keep our mind calm, we can keep our body calm. A calm baby. Before we come into our flow, we're just going to do 3 bumblebee breaths, also known as Brahma breath.
you're going to take an inhale in through the nose and then do a humming noise, which is going to beautifully have a massage, a sonic massage through the body. So inhale. 2 more. Inhale. Final one. Inhale. Nice. From here, slowly we're going to bring ourselves up into our downward facing dog. So options here, tuck the toes under, come up into a nice classic downward facing dog. If for any reason that your wrists are hurting, you can make them into a fist, or you can come down onto your elbows. Okay, so options there. But make sure you're pressing down through the first finger and thumb to protect the wrists. Nice generous bend in those knees. The integrity should be in the spine. This should be beautifully and like relieving for any lower back pain. Start to pedal out through one leg and then the other. Using that breath, just inhaling in through the nose for the count of 4 and exhaling for 6 out through the nose. Let's get a nice flow going here. So we're going to inhale the right leg up into the air. We're going to exhale. We're going to bring the foot between the hands. Give it a little helping hand if it needs to. Back heel's going to come down. And we're going to rise up into a warrior 2. So make the stance nice and wide. Make sure that baby bump is going towards the top left hand of the mat. Sinking down into that front hip. We're opening up through the pelvis here. Making sure that blood is running all over, supporting, nourishing, nurturing. And with every exhale, just sinking down that bit lower. Now, if you feel like you don't like the static variation, you can inhale, take the arms up straight in the front leg. Exhale, sink down. Inhale for 4, reach up. Exhale, down. Inhale, reach up, gaze up for 3. Exhale, down. Inhale for 2. And for 1. From here, we're going to straighten the front leg. Bring that back leg in a little bit if you need to. Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Inhale, reach forward as far as you can. Feel the muscle come off the bone. And then exhale, windmill the arms, coming into your triangle. Make sure you're not dumping any weight into that lower arm. Breathing here. For 3. Gaze up to the top hand if you can. For 2. And for 1. Beautiful. From here, slowly you're going to bring the hands down. You're going to walk them into the center, so turning anti-clockwise. Toes come in, heels come out, and you're just going to have a beautiful downward forward fold. So taking the hands, if you can, to the mat. If your hands do not touch the mat, come up onto the fingertips. But wherever you are, you want that integrity in the spine, a nice straight back. And from here, we're just going to get some windmills going on. So working into twisting that pelvis. Left hand comes into the center. Inhale, right arm comes up. Exhale, take the right hand down. And then inhale, lift that left arm up, twisting to the left. Exhale, come down. Right arm goes up. Exhale, down. Left arm goes up. Keep that breath going, that rhythm going as we take it to each side. Gaze up to the top hand as you reach up if it's comfortable on the back of the neck. Final one here. Slowly bring both hands to the mat. Walk them towards the front of the mat. And we're just going to drop that back knee down. We're going to untuck the toes. Place that left hand flat. And then take that right hand, take it to the fleshy part of the thigh. And just start to open up. Now if you want, you can stay stable, stationary, opening up and gazing over the right shoulder. Maybe it feels nice to get a little bit of movement. So coming back and then forward. So nice low lunges. And the great thing about low lunges is they're so versatile. You can do loads of stuff with them. So maybe you want to come back and stretch through the leg, getting a nice sort of half Hanuman stretch here. And then coming forwards, getting into the psoas muscles. So options here to go backwards and forwards. Maybe you prefer to go round. Or maybe you prefer to stay stationary. So explore through the body, find what feels good. Or maybe just mix it all up. Remember, you've got that relaxing in your body. So if you're suddenly finding that you're going much deeper or you're more flexible than you normally are, bring it to about 80% of your range. Let's take one more breath here. And then slowly, we're going to bring ourselves back into the full variation. Now, with that left knee, you are just going to twizzle it so the foot comes to face the back and the right leg comes out long. We're just going to take a nice gentle side stretch here. So a nice side Vashisthasana or side plank, supported variation. So reach it up nice and high. And if you want that little bit of fire, you can lift that top leg up off the mat, nice and straight. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower it down. We're going to walk the hands all the way to the front of the mat. We're going to bring those knees together. And we're going to do our chaturanga. So from here, we take the hands a little bit further forward. We bring the elbows down onto the mat. We roll forward as if we're trying to pick up that invisible Malteser. And then take the seat back to the heels. Sliding forward. Pushing yourself back up. Remember, if you've got PGP, you can bring those knees together. 2 more. So really building that strength in the upper body. Final one. From here, we're going to bend the knees, tuck the toes under, walk, lift the knees up, walk the hands back towards the feet, bring the hands onto the thighs, and then roll up through the top of the body, coming to standing. From here, we're going to come to San Francisco twinkle toes. So inhale, take the arms up into the air, come up onto the tips of the toes, a little bit of balance. If you want, you can interlace the fingers and then take the palms to the sky. Relax the shoulders gently. Bring it down, bring the hands through the heart center. We're going to bend those knees, take the hands to the thighs, and then walk the hands all the way back out again, coming into all fours. So we're going to do the same but on the other side. So tuck those toes under, come up into your downward facing dog. Inhale, bring that left leg up into the air. And then exhale, bring the foot between the hands. Back heel goes down and we come up into our warrior 2. So get that nice wider stance than normal. Baby bump towards the top right hand of the mat. Arms out nice and long. So once again, there's that option to inhale, take the gaze up, straighten the legs. And exhale, come back down. If you prefer to be more here, working through and holding that strength, you can. But there is the option to get a little bit of movement if that feels good today. We'll do 3 more. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, down. Inhale, 2. And 1. slowly coming back down. This time I'm going to straighten that front leg. Bring that back leg in a bit. Now you want to make sure that the back foot is about 45 degrees. You want to reach forward as far as you can and feel the muscles come off the hip. And then exhale, Utthita Trikonasana, relaxing the shoulder away from the ear. Maybe just let the head be heavy. What you don't want to do is dump any weight into that front leg. You should not be holding on to that front thigh. You want to use the front of the hand and hold it. If you need to, you could get a book or a block to help hold you up. Breathing in. Breathing out. Two more breaths. Inhale. Final breath. Nice and gently. We're going to come all the way up using that core. We're going to bring the toes out, the heels in. We're sinking down into goddess pose. So maybe you prefer to start off goddess pose, just a little bit of movement, rocking back to side to side, just get a little bit of movement. Now let's get the arms involved here. So, high five the fingers, shoulders in line with the elbows. Make sure you're not sticking the bum out and the belly out. Tailbone draws down. And we're going to use our golden thread breath throughout this. So we're going to take a nice inhale in through the nose. Purse the lips as if blowing out some birthday candles. Two more, you've got this. Use that breath. Feel the thighs getting nice and fiery. Glutes are switched on. Final breath. This time, inhale, straighten the legs, reach nice and high. Exhale, bring it down lower. Inhale. Reach high, exhale, golden thread breath. Inhale. Inhale. Final one, inhale. Stay here, we're going to pulse for 5. Little tiny pulses, 4, 3, you've got this, 2, nice and strong, and 1. Slowly straighten legs. Start to position yourself towards the top of the mat. We're just going to take those hands down onto the inside of the foot, bring that back knee down, untuck the toes, coming into our lizard pose. So from here, we're going to just take the hand onto that fleshy bit of the thigh, not the knee, and have a little play. So maybe you'd like to come forwards into the low lunge and then take it back into your half Hanuman, getting that stretch along the back of the legs. So maybe this feels really good. Or maybe you prefer to just open up into the hip range, taking the gaze over the top left shoulder. So have a little play. Maybe you prefer to just take some nice little circles with the hip one way and then the other. Find what feels right for you today, what feels good for your body. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Calm breath. Inhale for 4. Exhaling for 6. Come into Vashisthasana or side plank on the opposite side. So bringing that left knee, bringing the foot behind the knee, straightening out the left foot, right hand comes to the side of the right knee, and we just reach up nice and high, Vashisthasana. So hips high, gaze up, and if you want that bit more fire, you can lift that top leg off the floor. Breathing here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Nice work. Slowly bring it down. Walk the hands towards the front of the mat. This time bring those knees back together. Let's do our chaturangas again. So bring those hands a little bit further forward, knees together, especially if you've got that PGP. Bring the elbows down to the floor, bringing forwards as if you're trying to get that Malteser, and lift yourself back up, then seat to the heels. Elbows come down, take it forwards. Inhale back, and then seat to the heels. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, seat to the heels. Final one. Inhale. Exhale. Seat to the heels. Tuck the toes under. Lift the knees up. Start to walk the hands towards the back, towards the feet. Take the hands onto the thighs. Inhale. Round up. Exhale. Open up the chest. We're going to stay in our seated squat. Rounding through the pelvis. Rounding through the back. Gathering our breath. And then gently rounding, coming up through the back, coming to standing. Take a few moments here, maybe just wiggle out the hips, figure of 8, just relieving any tension. So we're going to come into a little bit of balance now. And I want you to think about squaring up of the hips and that strengthening of the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor being that central point of gravity throughout the body. So nice and gently, you're going to step forward with the left foot and gently come off the heel of the back foot. Now options here. You might want to bring the hands at heart center. We're going to come into a warrior 3. Maybe you want to take the arms behind the back, interlace them and open up the shoulders. Maybe you prefer eagle arms if you want a bit of a challenge. Or if you struggle with balance, bring the hands to the hips. So wherever you are, choose a nice variation. Maybe you want the arms nice and straight out in front of you like a superhero. Take the weight into that front foot. Start to lean forward. Then gently start to lift the back leg up off the floor. Flex the foot so that the toes are going down towards the floor. The top thigh is rotated around. Standing leg can have a gentle bend. Hugging baby to spine. And then gently coming back down to your high lunge. So take a moment there, gather your breath. So in our high lunge, we're going to be stretching through the calf. Make sure that pelvis is tilted forward, so not anterior, we want that posterior tilt. Now we're gently going to take our high lunge down to about 1 inch off the mat, working the pelvic floor nice and strong. If you want to, you can put a blanket just under your knee. So from here, hands can stay to the hips if you want, or you can use that inhale to bring the arms up, and then bring them down as you lower. Inhale up. So for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Nice. Slowly bring the hands to the heart center. We're going to just step gently to the top of the mat. We're going to come into a second balance and then step the quads up, the squats up a little bit more. So this time dancer pose, grounding down to the left foot and then bringing that right foot, the ankle, into the right hand. You can stay here, squeezing the heel into the bum, bringing the knees together, especially if you've got PGP, maybe you want to stay here. If you want to take it a bit further, kick the foot into the hand as you start to open out into dancer's pose, Natinjarasana. Squeeze the glutes. And gently bring it back through again and release the back heel coming into a squat. Now this time, if you want, you can do the 5 going up and down like we did before, or we're going to lower down and we're going to hold there for the count of 5. So options there if you want to go for level 1 or level 2. So inhale, prepare. Exhale, taking it down. Holding here for 5, 4. Make sure that pelvis is on for 3. For 2, glutes are going mad. And for 1, slowly. Inhale, coming up. Bringing the feet together. Just work it out and gently take it towards the back of your mat. So we're going to do the same but on the other side, okay? So this time we're going to step that right foot forward, ready for our warrior 3 on the opposite side. Now maybe you want to turn up the arms a little bit. Maybe you want to try the interlace behind the back. Maybe you want to try the eagle arms or the superhero style. Or maybe just keeping hands at heart center. Here we go. Start to take the weight into the right foot, lifting that left leg up off the floor. Gently bringing the leg back, staying on the back heel. We're going to do our 5 squats down. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, slowly take it down. Inhale up. Exhale down for 4. For 3. For 2. And for 1. Beautiful. Slowly bring the hands to the heart center. Step the back foot forward. Coming into dancer pose on the opposite side. So grounding down through the right foot. Bringing the left ankle into the left hand. Option to stay here. Or start to kick the foot out. And then gently, coming back to center, bringing that left foot out, keeping that heel. So nice and slowly, option to gently bring the knee up and down or holding it there for the 5. So inhale, prepare. Exhale, taking it down. Holding here for 5. Switch those glutes on for 4. Pelvis tilt for 3. You've got this. Grit and bear it for 2. And then final breath, 1. Slowly come up. Bring the feet together at the top of the mat. And just give yourself a little wiggle out. Maybe a little hip movement from side to side. Just loosen up. Because especially when we do the balance, we're firing everything up through the legs. From here, we're gently going to come down into Malasana or Yogi Squat. So bringing the toes slightly out, the heels slightly in. If you need to place a block or a cushion under the bum, do so. Maybe you need to take the hands down first and sort of just get into the hips, rocking backwards and forwards. If you're quite comfortable with your Yogi Malasana Yogi Squat, then bring the heels down, hands at the heart center. Make sure that the elbows are into the knees. You want to push them out to the sides. If your heels are not down on the floor, take the stance a bit wider. So you really want to be finding that comfort into the hips. Now, option, as always, if you want, you can take the couch behind you and sit on it, or maybe just come and sit on the bum to the side. And you can take the bum to the floor, elbows into the knees, just opening into the hips. Okay, so options there if it really is too much. If you are in your full Malasana Yogi Squat, this is also a great asana to practice your Kegels in if you're a bit bored of just sitting at the dinner table secretly doing it. So open the chest up to the sky. Try and find comfort in the pose. This is a great birthing position. All open, gravity down. And if you find this one literally your nemesis, then just try and gradually build up to it, using that block or pillow for that support underneath, or maybe starting by sitting on the floor with the elbows there, and then gently open up the pelvis to having this comfort. Use the strength, build it nice and gently. Beautiful. Let's take one more breath here. And then gently bring the hands onto the floor, lower yourself onto the mat. From here, we're just going to do some bridge and some figure 4. So once again, lying on our backs, bringing the soles of the feet to the floor, feet hip distance apart. So for this, for figure 4, you're going to lift the right foot up. You're going to take the right ankle to the top of the left thigh, and you're going to place your right hand onto the fleshy bit of your thigh. So maybe here it feels good just opening up that hip range, that hip mobility. And maybe you want to just stay there. Maybe you want to go that little bit further, in which case you can interlace the hands behind the left thigh and raise the left foot up off the mat. So this goes that little bit deeper. Let's do 5 breaths here. Your choice. Calm breath, maybe inhaling for 4, exhaling for 6. Maybe the golden thread breath, inhaling and then that blowing out of the candles. Maybe you prefer the bumblebee breath, having a nice sonic massage down the spine as you lie here. Relax the shoulders, make sure they're in contact with the mat. Final breath. Make sure both feet are flexed, and then gently bring it down to the floor. Both soles of the feet to the floor. We're going to take our bridge pose, so we're going to take it that a little bit deeper. Options here, so make sure you can tickle the back of the feet with the heels. Palms flat into the floor, and then exhale, slowly start to raise the hips, raise the lower back. Now loads of options here. We're engaging the glutes. We're strengthening through the pelvic floor, hips to the sky, chest to the back. Now if you want, you can do pulses. So exhale, take it down. Inhale, coming up. So option to pulse. Make sure, and maybe you want to get that squeezy ball in between the knees again, especially if you've got PGP, that's going to help you keep everything magnetized to the center. Maybe you prefer to interlace the hands underneath the back, coming up onto the shoulders, coming into your full bridge variation and holding it here. Wherever you are, we're going to hold it for the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful.
Slowly bring it down. We're going to do figure 4 on the opposite side. So taking that left ankle to the right thigh. Option to take that left hand to the fleshy part of your left thigh to help open up that hip range. Now remember, it might be good just staying here, opening up there, or maybe you want to interlace the hands behind the right thigh, lifting that right foot off the mat, flex the feet. This means peeling the toes back. This makes sure that you protect the knees and that range, that motion is coming from the hips. You want the shoulders to be in contact with the floor. And with every exhale, you're bringing that knee closer into the chest to make that rotation of the hips a little bit more intense. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Final breath. Exhale, slowly release down to the floor. Coming into bridge, options obviously to do your pulses or to hold it at the top. Wherever you are, inhale, prepare. Exhale, taking it up. So make sure that those glutes are switched on. If they are not, you are not supporting that pelvic floor. Breathing in for 5. For 4. For 3. For 2. And for 1. Beautiful. Slowly lower down. Bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug, little rock from side to side. And then nice and gently rolling over onto your side, coming up to seated. We're going to finish with a nice little stretch to each side. So take the legs out nice and long. And if you have got a couch, maybe it's nice actually to sit up against the couch to get that straightness of the back. Now the importance here is to have the toes to the sky and the heels into the floor. For those of you with PGP, don't take the legs as wide. Maybe bring them that little bit narrower, okay? So if you're sitting here going, I like that, bring them in. Maybe take a cushion off the couch and stick it under the bum for that little bit of lift. Now, options, you can stay here, nice and tall, just relaxing into the hips, especially if they feel really uncomfortable today. Maybe you want to take the hands and you move yourself away from the couch, engaging that core, hands behind the back, open up the chest, sitting up nice and tall. Lots of options here, and this is why I want you to find what feels good for you today. Maybe you take those hands in front of you, keeping that nice straight back. As soon as you round the back, you're losing the strength that we're building down here. So you want to lift that chest. Now, maybe it feels good to walk the hands forward, coming into a forward fold. Grounding down through the heels, engaging the thighs. So really switch on the thighs and lift the kneecaps. So think squeeze the thighs, you'll see the kneecaps lifting, and come into a forward fold. Maybe you prefer to open up the hips again. Maybe that Utthita Trikonasana, our triangle pose, felt good, and you'd like to take a little stretch over to the side. Lifting that muscle off the hip, and maybe it feels really nice and relaxing. For me, this feels really good today because last night, sleeping on my sides, felt real lot of compression on my hips as they're softening with that relaxing. So this just feels like a really great stretch. Also expanding through the side of the rib cage. Wherever you are, let's do 2 more breaths. Inhaling. Exhaling. Final breath. Slowly coming all the way back up. So if you are in your forward fold, you can stay there for some juicy more breaths, relaxing. Otherwise, coming over to the other side and getting that stretch on the opposite side. Now, the important thing to remember about your pelvic floor is that it's connected to the jaw. So give it a little wiggle from side to side, and that helps you relax through the pelvic floor. So if you're finding those squats, that malasana, that yogi squat quite tight, use the jaw. If you sing, maybe you'll find singing really helpful in your labor.
or maybe smiling, laughing. Anything that relaxes the jaw is going to relax that pelvis if it's tensing up as you're trying to increase that mobility. Let's do 2 more breaths here. Inhale. Final breath. And then gently bring yourself all the way back up. Hopefully that should feel really nice now. To bring yourself back in. Hands under the knees. And gently bring them back together. Bring the soles of the feet together in Supta Baddha Konasana. And then from here, just taking the feet together, just take a little bounce of the knees, okay? Supta Baddha Konasana is a really nice way of just giving the hips a little bit of love. They're nice and balanced, but we're also opening them up at the same time. So breathing in and breathing out. Now, if it feels nice bouncing them up and down, you can stay there. If you would like to take a bit more of a stretch, you can start to, this time, round through the back. You'll be glad to hear. You can round through the back, starting to take the forehead to the toes, and the elbows just come in to the side. If you want, you can take the elbows onto the legs to help open them up. Yogi's choice. Remember, give a little wiggle through the jaw if it's feeling particularly tight. And then gently come all the way back up. We're going to finish off now with Shavasana, but we're going to do one little tiny core to get us down there. We're going to do boat pose. Now we're just going to take the hands underneath the knees. Options, you can just take the tips of the toes to the mat. Maybe you want to bring the knees off the mat. Open up the chest, so no rounding through the back, dumping down, holding it here. Maybe you feel stable and you want to take the arms out long. We're going to hold here for 8, 7, 6, knees together, 5, ankles together, 4, open the chest for 3, you've got this for 2, and then finally 1, hands under the knees, bring it down, and then coming to your Shavasana. Lots of options as always. If you would like, because we've been working through the hips and the pelvic floor, you can bring the knees wide, soles of the feet together. That's Supta Baddha Konasana, but a recline variation, getting all those pillows and stacking them up to lift up the chest, and then you can take it back and come into your reclined variation. Notice how my chest opens up, allow my head to just flop back and open up. So this might feel really nice, creating space in the rib cage. Maybe you would prefer to come into a classic Shavasana, lying on the left hand side with the knees bent and a little pillow between the knees and the ankles. And just coming to lie on the side. Choose where feels good for you today. Grab all the pillows and cushions. Give yourselves lots of padding. Close the eyes now. And start to take yourself to your happy place. So when your surges are coming, you can use the breath, you can use your mantras, and then you can quickly take yourself to your happy place, wherever that may be. Your garden, your bedroom, maybe your favorite beach or holiday destination. So if you are on your favorite beach, maybe you can feel the sun, start to visualize feeling the sun on your skin, warming it up. The sand underneath your body. Visualizing the waves coming into the shore. Maybe you can hear the birds overhead. Make the visualization of your favorite place, your happy place, so strong. And allow yourself to relax there. Allow yourself to be calm. As you calm the mind and calm the body, you have a calm baby. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Relaxed and calm. Your body can birth your baby. You give your body all the nutrients and all the love that you need to birth your baby. And every day is a day closer towards meeting your baby. You've got this. You're going to be an amazing mummy. Slowly start to inspire some life back into your body, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. If you are in your reclined butterfly, slowly bring the knees together and roll onto your left hand side. If you are lying on your left hand side with the knees bent, then slowly bring yourself up wherever you are. We're all going to meet in Sukhasana. Nice easy position, nice comfortable seated position, and if you need to, feel free to grab a cushion, place it under the bum. We're going to finish with one Om to unite us as a motherhood and to unite the practice. So gently bringing the hands to the heart center, we're going to close the eyes down. Take a nice inhale to prepare and exhale HA side out. Inhale to Om. Om. Bowing the head. Jai Namaste. Thank you, everybody.